The introduction of a shared understanding of attachment through the operational definition is crucial for us to work effectively in a multi-agency context. The information that has been presented in these short films will undoubtedly provoke thought about implications that this knowledge has on our practice. The Solihull approach helps practitioners to understand how a baby's brain develops and the impact of early experiences. Solihull approach is based on reflective learning, and this model encourages professional dialogue, which is a crucial part of our ongoing professional development. Through discussion, practitioners take time to analyse their experiences, how they think and feel about them, and if they would do anything differently next time. It can also be helpful to think about the attachment process and how this can be supported by practitioners. It may be worthwhile thinking about your policies and procedures and your practices. Do they support attachment-based practice? Here are some examples from different services of how this has influenced a change to their practice.
Attachment in a childminding setting starts by building up trust with the parents and settling the children in. So parental involvement is very important. We are working on a one-to-one basis with the children, and the parents have to feel confident that they are leaving their child in our trust, that we will love them and give them the stability that they need. As childminders, we try to be all of these things to the children in our care. During the settling in visit, we are looking for as much information about the child as possible, their likes and dislikes, their routines and their wee habits, and some information about the family. We can ask for this information up front, but I have found it's easier to get when you can build up some kind of trust with the parents and make them feel at ease, letting them ask questions and address their concerns. Parents are usually quite stressed about leaving their precious bundle with someone they may not even know. And at this stage, our job as childminders is as much about helping the parents with the transition as it is about settling in the child. I like to create a home-from-home atmosphere within my service. The children I care for are loved, and we talk about their mummies and their daddies and their grannies and even their dog in everyday situations. I try to create a feeling of belonging for each child and pride in their achievements. I tend to keep in touch with the families and have become family friends with most of my mildly children. Always been aware that I am a secondary carer. As a childminder, I'm in a wonderful and privileged position of giving the child my love and attention through the day. When their parents aren't there, I'm their safe place, nurturing them and watching them grow, giving them experiences that they may not otherwise be able to have, and giving them back to their parents with love at night. I see it as my job to give a child confidence and to make them more independent by allowing them the chance to try new things and know that I am there if they need me for a cuddle and some words of reassurance and comfort. Childminders create an extended family and a whole circle of friends for the children. They've got someone to look up to in the older children and someone to help and care for in the younger children. In my service, we have family days out where the parents and the children come along and have fun together. This is where the parental participation shines through. The parents love seeing the children play with each other and have got a chance to meet with the other parents. I think all childminders practice attachment without even knowing it. We take pride in seeing the children develop their resilience and are always looking after their well-being. There's no greater satisfaction than watching your minded children move through life's transitions with confidence and ability.
The Solihull approach parenting group, Understanding Your Child, is intended for parents and carers who want to know more about nurturing and effective parenting. It aims to develop a framework of thinking about parent-child relationships which can be developed into lifelong skills. It looks at how our early experiences are the template for our lifelong relationships, and these early relationships we have will play a crucial role in our child's brain development. The group helps parents to connect with their child and develop containing, reciprocal relationships, and in turn promotes effective behaviour management. So effective behaviour management and having clear boundaries in place will promote healthy child development. Parents recognise they must set limits and boundaries, at the same time understand the emotions and feelings their child's communicating. So for example, a parent may say, "I can't allow you to hurt your sister, but I understand you must be feeling frustrated." In this way, you're validating their emotions to promote a healthy development and secure relationships. The programme explores issues such as tuning into your child, exploring their feelings, different parenting styles, communication, what is being communicated through certain behaviours, temper tantrums and what might be meant by them, sleep patterns and behaviour difficulties. The group encourages parents to identify the most important issues in their relationship with their child and to reflect on why things sometimes go well and sometimes do not. Each week, home activities are given out and parents are asked to look over the 3 key questions provided at the beginning of the programme. The 3 key questions are: what are the age and stage of your child, what changes have taken place, and what might your child be trying to communicate. We found parents then found it easier to identify how to work together with their child and reach an understanding of how their child may be feeling. One parent said she thought their child was just testing her patience, and they now know he was frustrated and exhausted. Another parent asked us to provide material that she could present to her extended family, that she was promoting a nurturing relationship with her daughter and not creating a dependent child that she would regret in later life. The group consists of 10 sessions, each lasting 2 hours with a maximum of 12 people. We facilitate our group within the local nursery centre. The room's very comfortable and we provide snacks, tea and coffee for a small break. The group helps parents to feel relaxed and feel nurtured themselves, as we know from research that we are better carers when we feel cared for ourselves. So if you want to find out more about effective nurturing parenting, then look out for the posters within the community to find out where and when the nearest group will be running.
At Glenboig, we trained in the Solihull approach in the in-service days just before school returned. The training made us immediately consider our current practice and how we could make the first day in Primary 1 less traumatic for children. We decided to allow comfort toys or anything that made the children feel more secure in school for as long as they needed. We also took photos of our new pupils with their families on their first day. We had them printed off and laminated before break and gave them to the children. Some left them on their tables, however others kept them with them all day. They clearly were a comfort and made the children feel that they hadn't been abandoned by their families. One of our Primary 1 children was struggling to cope with the dinner hall. She spent the entire time screaming and crying for an adult to be with her. We lapsed back into our old ways and were too firm with her. It simply caused more distress for everyone. We realised we were employing the wrong strategies and looked at our developmental milestones document from our training. We realised that emotionally she was between 2 and 3, and so asking her to cope in a busy dinner hall was unreasonable. We put strategies into place to support her, gradually weaning her off adult support to increase her independence in the dinner hall. Now, 2 terms in, she can meet her own needs at lunchtime. She made super progress through a gradual process that supported her and didn't stress the adults either. Instead of focusing on what she couldn't do, we looked at what she could do, identified her needs, broke them down into small manageable steps and celebrated her success.
I'm a health visitor working in the Coatbridge locality of North Lanarkshire. The health visitor's role is driven by attached-based practice, and we strive to support and encourage positive relationships between babies, children and their caregivers in all situations. Our assessments, which are underpinned by GIRFEC, keep the child at the centre and they're strength-based. The Solihull approach, which originated from health visiting, is used by most practitioners in all aspects of their work in many different ways, to help with the carer's concerns about sleeping, feeding, behaviour, eating. The list is endless. A recent example would be when a mum I was visiting had phoned me and was very anxious about a recent change in her 3-year-old's behaviour. She was upset when she described him as hitting, not sleeping, and he had been wetting himself, whereas previously he had been dry. Mum has severe and enduring mental health issues, and this can, at times, interfere with her relationship with her younger boy. When I visited Mum, we talked about what had been happening recently that might have caused a change in his behaviour. At first, Mum said that there had been nothing happening and that there had been no changes to his routine. She talked for about 15 minutes, and then she revealed that 3 weeks previously, the family had been on a trip to France to visit her family, and that her son had not liked the plane flight, that he'd screamed on the flight there, and he was very upset on the way back, holding his hands over his ears the whole journey. He was screaming at the time and crying inconsolably. Mum took a few minutes to think about what she'd just said, and then she realised that the whole incident could be why her son's behaviour had changed. She smiled at me at this realisation and went over to her son, picked him up and cuddled him. Then she said to me, "It's going to be all right, isn't it?" Without an understanding of the Solihull approach and the principles of reciprocity and containment, I would not have been able to know the importance of what had happened in this visit, and I would have given Mum traditional strategies to address her son's behaviour. As it was, Mum was able to repair the rupture in her relationship with her son and put in place her own strategies to help his behaviour. The new universal health visiting pathway will mean that health visitors have a unique opportunity to influence, through knowledge, modelling and practice, positive relationships between the carers and their children.
Within Shotts Family Learning Centre, the emotional wellbeing of children is at the heart of everything we do. We recognise that in order for children to learn, grow and develop, they must first feel safe, secure and happy. As we know, times of transition can be very difficult and distressing for young children, as they may experience feelings of anxiety and uncertainty. It's something that they'll experience from a very young age, with transitions taking place on a daily basis. For example, as they go from home to nursery, from their parent to another family member, moving from one room to another, and moving from nursery to school. We know that these types of daily transitions are part of a child's life and demonstrate that most children are faced with transitions in their lives from very early on. At Shotts Family Learning Centre, we aim to work closely with all adults involved in children's lives, whether a parent, health visitor, social worker or teacher, to support transitions by identifying the needs of the child and communicating with one another effectively. We look upon all of these people as assets in supporting the children in our care through times of transition and value our relationships with them. As a whole multi-agency team, we use the Solihull approach to support families by helping parents to understand their child's behaviour, increasing their confidence and encouraging them to seek their own solutions. Before a child begins their time with us in the centre, we've already begun to get a better idea of who they are, their likes and dislikes, and what they need to feel safe and secure. This is achieved by carrying out home visits, spending time with the child and parent in the familiar environment of the home, and also inviting the parent and child to visit the centre and meet their key person prior to commencing their sessions. We welcome parents to stay with the child in the playroom for as long as it takes for them to be able to separate from them happily. By doing this, we're enabling children to develop confidence and resilience. We're aware of those children who've made many transitions before even arriving at nursery, and so strive to ensure that these children are cared for by the same key people, providing continuity and stability. When it comes time for a child to move from one room to another, we take this at the child's own pace, taking into consideration their needs, the views of the parents, and the observations that any other adult working with the child has made. Leaving nursery to continue their learning journey at school is a huge transition for any child to face, and so we work in close partnership with parents and teachers throughout this time from the months leading up to the event itself. We liaise with the local schools in organising visits for parents and children and plan experiences within the nursery which will enable children to talk about school and how they feel about it. We've also organised buddy play days where the children from the schools can come to the nursery to meet and spend time with the preschool children. It's our responsibility to ensure that the children within our care experience smooth transitions and are able to manage change positively.
I was first introduced to Robert and his family when I seen the film clip used at the Solihull training. I was attending as a participant. Before that training, we had been looking at introducing the concept of brain development and attachment into our staff training, but we were struggling a bit with it because it's such a complicated subject and we were really trying to get our own heads around it. But as soon as we seen just that clip of the video and the graphics, it all clicked into place and it made perfect sense and it seemed a really good way to explain it. At the same time, Anna McGinley and I, the parent education midwife, were also looking at ways of developing the parent education classes, trying to make it a bit more patient-centred and a bit more interesting. And we felt that using this clip with the parents would be a good idea, and that's what we did. We tried a Saturday morning one-stop shop and we used this clip as part of the discussion round about parenting. We found it was really, really well received by parents. Dads in particular really identified with the film. They really liked the way interaction shaped their babies' brains, and lots of staff approached us at the end and asked us where they could see the rest of the video and where they could purchase it. We then introduced the video clip into the staff updates. Now the staff updates, they're we're quite strained for time. We have a 2-hour update and we've got quite a lot to cover in it. And the brain development and attachment is just one part of that. And it would usually take a long while to discuss that and to go into that in any depth. But because the clip discusses it so fully and so beautifully, it's been so well received by staff, and staff really like it and they really identify with it. The clip isn't perfect by any stretch of the imagination. It's a bit dated, it's old, there's practices in it that we do now or we don't do now. The baby doesn't have skin at delivery, sleeps in a separate room from its parents. But that's a really good way of bringing out that discussion about how we know better, we do better. So now we know that these things are important and we've changed our practice, and that's important for people who have had a baby before, be it staff or parents, to identify what we did in the past. We change now because we've got new information. The best bit of the film for me is the graphics that show the brain development and the connections and the tendrils stretching out, looking for somewhere to go. And that explains such a complicated message so beautifully. So easy to understand how the baby's experiences in the world shape its brain. And it makes it really easy to understand, again, both for staff and for parents. And it leads into lots of discussion about how babies' brains grow and how what happens to babies affects their brain growth. And how we parent our babies is a really important part of their life and how they'll grow up. It's a really valuable tool. We really enjoy using it. The staff really enjoy using it and the parents are really appreciating it.
I'm a paediatric speech and language therapist with a particular interest in early intervention. The children and families that we work with come to speech and language therapy because there are concerns that the child's speech, language and communication isn't developing in the way we would expect. Our role is to support families to support their child to communicate, and this ultimately requires a positive attachment between child and caregiver. The Solihull approach links really closely with the early intervention therapies for children. For example, we run a course called It Takes Two to Talk, a programme for parents of young children with delayed language. For lots of the young children we work with, therapy is around what we call naturalistic language learning. This means that therapy happens by working with the parent to create meaningful and fun ways for a child to learn to use language during their day. We also look at how parents and carers respond to their child's communication efforts. Attachment is at the heart of language development, having the capacity to pick up on and observe cues from the child and interpret these, engaging in a reciprocal interaction and being able to follow the lead of their child and have balanced interactions is so important. I support a little boy who has delayed language, and his parents have struggled in the past to establish an interaction with him, which was a source of great anxiety for them. Using the Solihull approach meant that I had a framework to offer containment for mum and free her up to focus on interacting with her wee boy. I was able to help her develop reciprocity by using noticing comments to highlight his communication attempts and encourage reflection on how best to respond. She now feels less anxious as a result of being able to see his strengths and empowered by how to keep an interaction going. What's great about Solihull is that the approach can be used preventatively, which is the goal when working with families and talking to them about language development. I'm really happy to see the strong links that are being established between Solihull and other initiatives like BookBug and Play at Home that promote positive attachments by empowering parents to share books and play with their children, which in turn helps them to learn to talk and sets children on a path towards more positive outcomes. Working in an area where the majority of the early years workforce have access to the Solihull approach means that we have a shared language to talk about not only the child's well-being, but the well-being of parents and caregivers. And I definitely feel that we are more conscious of how we develop safe and containing relationships with families and with each other.
St Thomas's Primary School is a bucket-filling school. It is helpful to think of every baby being born with an invisible bucket. This bucket representing a child's mental and emotional health. We cannot see it, but we know it's there. Alongside parents, it is our responsibility to promote children's emotional health. When we love, nurture, sing, play, provide loving attention, safety and care, we fill a child's bucket. Giving love builds a child's well-being. Teachers need to love their children, and children need to experience that love. In addition to being loved, children have to be taught how to express kindness and love to others. Teachers must model love, fairness and consistency. When we meet together in the yard each morning, we pray, and then an adult speaks to the children, reminding them that they are smart and well-behaved. They are giants. We share important information, we greet each other, and then we walk calmly into school. When we are quiet, children settle Children who arrive late are greeted warmly by every member of staff they meet on their way to class. They are asked if they have ordered lunch. Our cook is known as the toast fairy. If a child comes in hungry, we feed them. Children are never removed from the class to a cloakroom or corridor as a punishment. We believe if a child is removed, the adult in the room has failed. Children are not kept in if homework isn't completed. If it's important, they get help from an adult in school to complete it. Primary 7 children work with Primary 1 as reading buddies. Every child, therefore, has a quiet, nurturing time to have their reading heard by someone who is listening and giving their whole attention to the reader. On Christmas Jumper Day this year, we went to the shops and bought enough Christmas jumpers to ensure everyone was wearing one. On the final day of Christmas term, staff go out to the houses to deliver the prizes from our Christmas raffle. We collect new toys throughout the year to ensure that we have toys for children who might not get them otherwise. I send my whole staff out. I believe it's important for them to see the houses some of our children come from. Staff come back humbler and with renewed commitment to the children in their care. Birthday parties, Halloween costumes, trips to McDonald's, after-school clubs run in another school so that our bus children can attend, cases bought and packed by staff for Kilbowie, staff taking children out walking in the evening to allow the Solihull parenting programme without the need for a creche. We insist on school uniform and black gym shoes, which makes everyone equal. In our school, everyone gets what they need, but they don't all get the same. When a pupil kicks off, tips over furniture, tears down posters because home is chaotic, because dad didn't get punished for punching mum, where mum is not emotionally available due to a chemical dependency and mental health issues, if we believe school is the only place this child feels truly safe, we cannot react in the moment. We cannot compare him or her to our happy, settled children. We believe a child misbehaves because he or she is not connected, and that misbehaving is a child's clumsy attempt to connect with us. We must remain calm. We must show them we feel sorry for them. We cannot be angry. We cannot share our feelings of annoyance. We must be consistent and caring. We need to take the opportunity to sit down the following day and talk through what happened and the simple strategies that may help next time. How can we turn our back on a child who is so distraught and emotionally disturbed? We do not nag and we do not revisit. In our nurturing school, we cannot. We need to connect with the child. Connection heals and connection helps. We have a nurture class. Children who cannot cope in class get the support they need in a smaller group where time is built in to allow them to build loving relationships with staff. Breakfast in the Rainbow Room is busy and structured, and children have the opportunity to talk and be happy and have the soft start they need. Our task is to make memories for our children, not only academic, but true memories of kind adults who were always on their side and supported them to make them stand out less and fit in more.
It's clear from these examples that practitioners will begin to think differently about their practice when they understand the attachment process. It's hoped that these short films have helped to develop a shared understanding among practitioners from all services, and that practice will continue to develop with a clear focus on nurture and attachment.